Joining us now, Dr. Duane Hennen. He is a Republican. You can follow him on Twitter at Dr. D. Hennen, and he's running for Congress in Ohio's 13th district against Tim Ryan, who's running for president, who didn't make any of the debates, but he's also the guy that challenged Fancy Nancy Pelosi a couple years back to no avail. Dr. Hennen with us now. Good to have you with us, Doc.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. Been good to be with you.
So I love the fact that you're running for Congress in Tim Ryan's district, although it's an uphill battle. You got to keep him honest. And I remember Michelle Bachmann, I was telling this story the other day. Michelle Bachmann ran for president in 2012, and I backed her campaign early before Newt got in. As soon as Newt got in, I went with him. But she ran for president, and she spent months running around Iowa, New Hampshire, neglecting her district. She was never there. And that was a very Republican district. She had a Democratic challenger that year for Congress, a liberal, that came within 150 votes of beating her, and then she retired because she didn't want to go through that again. So there is a risk here for Tim Ryan when you're a congressman with zero chance of being the nominee and you're never in the district and you're not paying attention to your constituents. There is a backlash. Could you possibly take advantage of that, Duane?
I think we can. I think the thing with Tim Ryan, the Vindicator, one of our local papers out of Youngstown, pointed this out a few weeks back, and I think I tweeted it out, was the fact that he's missed a third of the votes. I mean, really, he's not here for the district, whether he's running for president or not. So it's not a big change. We don't really see him around here. When he is in the district, he'll maybe throw a party or something for his friends, but that's about it. So, I mean, that's one of the biggest complaints of people here, everyone I talk to, is that he just does nothing for them. So, I think we can take advantage of it, but I think we're just pointing out the facts of everyday life here that, hey, he's just not in the district. He really just doesn't care.
What is it, Duane, that inspired you to run for Congress, especially in this uphill battle?
I've been watching this, and it's like really in 16 it got a little closer. In 18 it got a lot closer with Chris DePizzo. He got like 39.1% of the vote. So it's still good ways to go. But I think right now, there is a huge Trump factor in all this. And I've been watching with some of the biggest things with some of the things Tim was saying, like with the abortion issues. Just kind of put me over the top. I'm a former pastor, and I just said, you know what, enough's enough. Someone's got to stand up and fight this. Because, if it was his way, we'd be the same way like as New York right here in Ohio. And, New York, Ohio is like totally different than New York.
Right.
We did pass that heartbeat bill. So I think it resonates with the people. Tim is a quote-unquote Catholic person, and he just doesn't seem to follow any of the what he used to stand up for. He used to be pro-life. He used to be pro-NRA. Now he is just against both of them. So I think that, and those are two big issues here in our district. People are definitely, for the Second Amendment. They're for their personal rights. And most people, on average, do not go the extremes of abortion like they pushed it nowadays.
All right, if you want more information, you can go to the website, Hennen, 4Ohio2020.com, Hennen4Ohio.com. Now, this district, District 13 in Ohio, give our national audience here, Duane, a sense of what the boundaries are, where it is, and is it District Democrat +8 +10, how much?
Well, we are we cover quite a wide area. We've got the Youngstown, Warren area. We go down a little bit into Stark County, which would be like the Alliance, Ohio area. We go over into Akron. Akron is probably about 30% of our vote. And then we go up to like Cuyahoga Falls and Portage County. It's this has traditionally been pretty much a Democrat area for quite a few years, actually a couple decades with Tim Ryan by himself. The thing that we've seen, though, is like, with Tim Ryan, ever since he's got in, and even slightly before that, Jim Traficant was in, and it was just a steady decline. We had a decline in jobs. We have a decline in population. The only thing that's been on the rise is the drug addiction. So that's one of the issues that we have to fight for here in Ohio is the drug addiction, the opioid crisis. But we also got to get some employers back in the area. Because, GM's pulled out. Delphi pulled out, and that's all been under Tim. And Tim wants to kind of point the finger at Trump and say, hey, Trump's done all this. Well, it's been going on for years. We've watched it here go on for years. And it wasn't Trump. Everything, you look at the numbers across the United States, everything Trump's done's worked. The only places that it doesn't work is places like this where you got someone that's trying to fight it from working. Another thing we really got to do in Ohio, and this is going to be Ohio having to do it for themselves, is we need to become a right-to-work state. Every state that's not just seems like it just doesn't work. And I think that's where we're falling apart. Employers don't want to come here because of that. So I think we've got some issues here in the state that we need to take care of. But we also got to have someone that's going to support our president. If we're going to go in, and not support our president, how much are we going to accomplish in our area? And that's in our primary, I'm going up against another guy that's an anti-Trumper. So, in the Republican Party. He actually ran as Democrat before. He's now Republican, trying to, I guess, play a Republican. So I've got to, go through that battle first. But, ultimately it'll be Tim Ryan. So, we're kind of focusing on both at the same time right now.
Well, look, there's a lot of fake people out there running for Congress that were never Trumpers, and now they want to put they want to put on the cloak. In 2016, if you look at your district, what did Tim Ryan win by? Like, what was his percentage, assuming that he had opposition?
Yeah, I think in 2016, let me think back then. I don't have the papers in front of me, but I know it was, I believe he had, I think if the Republican that ran at that time had like about 27%, I believe. So Tim Ryan won by a huge margin. Chris Pizzo brought it up where he was like 39%. And I think we can go further than that. I think we can actually knock it over the top this time. There's a lot of Democrats coming into the offices wanting to register as Republicans to get into the game. A lot of Democrats are just getting unsatisfied. They're unsatisfied just like the rest of us. Right. You do have some Democrats that, hey, they're just going to vote Democrat no matter what you do. Doesn't matter who the candidate is. They're not looking at the candidate's issues. They're saying, hey, we're Democrat, we're voting Democrat. So, that's the battle you always have. And that's one you just got to take, hey, there's a certain percentage I'm just not going to get. But I think we stand a pretty good chance this time. I mean, it's just the issues are changing. In our uphill battle, well, right now you got someone that used to be, a lot of people kind of consider Tim Ryan conservative a little bit when he first started. Now he's not. He's just totally changed course, and he's just right up there with Pelosi, right up there with Chuck Schumer, and just obstructing Trump and everything he does. And that doesn't resonate well with people. When they see, hey, we could be doing better, and we're not because of this, it just doesn't suit well, for the average person in our district.
We're with Duane Hennen. He's running for Congress in Ohio's 13th district. That's represented right now by Tim Ryan, who's running for president. It is a solidly Democratic district right now, but it's important we get strong Trump candidates on the ballot to drive Trump turnout in the 3rd district to win Ohio. So Duane Hennen, one of those disruptors that we're having on in our disruptor segment. Duane, I've got a caller from Virginia that knows a little bit about your district and about Adelphi, because he's the head of the Adelphi Pension Fund. I've got Den Black on the line from Chesapeake, Virginia. Den, you're on the line with GOP congressional candidate Duane Hennen.
Yes, Duane, it's a pleasure to hear that you're going to go after the big dog out there, Mr. Timmy Ryan. And as John mentioned, I'm the chairperson of the Delphi Salaried Retirees Association, and I'm quite sure you must be aware that there's several thousands of Delphi people that would be likely to be voting for you because of the pension theft that we've endured out there in the Youngstown, Warren, Ohio district. Do you have contacts with those people? I have them all, and we certainly would be pleased to provide you with that group of people so that you can be sure who's in that potential voting block for you.
I do have contact with a lot of them. I probably don't have the whole list, so yeah, if you could get me the list, I would contact each one of them personally. My dad worked at Delphi, so it's he actually got out before it was too late, so to speak. So I mean, he actually retired. Still has his pension and whatnot. Things have been cut over the years a little bit, but
you mean he got out when it was still General Motors?
Yes, correct. It was like, I think he was the last group that got out when they was still under GM. So that kind of saved him a little bit.
1999, yeah. That was, okay, yeah. When Delphi was created. And what a ride it's been. But it really went downhill, as you know, then, Duane,
yes,
once the Auto Task Force got involved. And needlessly, and I will not mince words, stole the earned Delphi salary pensions. And we're coming down the home stretch on the litigation of that as we speak. But I will stay in touch with you and also provide you with a contact list of literally hundreds, if not thousands, of people in your district that you need to stay in contact with. And believe me, I know Mr. Tim Ryan very well. And early on, he was out there as a politician advocating on our behalf. But you know what? He's forgotten about us a long time ago.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what he does. I mean, he's there for the photo ops. And that, if it looks like something's good, he'll be there. When it gets bad, he just seems to stay away and just not really want to get in the game and fight. And unfortunately, nowadays especially, we need politicians that are going to stand up and fight for the people, not fight for themselves, not worry about, he just was tweeting out about some Planned Parenthood last night, and he's more worried about the campaign contributions than anything. And if it's, hey, someone that's not going to be given, you know what, those Delphi people that lost their pensions, they really can't give to them right now because they can't afford to.
You got that
everything.
Right. It's all about Timmy when it comes to Timmy, though. I can tell you that for sure, as you well know. It's all about Timmy.
Absolutely.
Timmy first, not America first. Not America first.
Oh, you bet.
Timmy first.
We need all the politicians to be America first, and there's far too many that aren't. Far too many who are just in there for the political game, just in there for a political career. And I'm not looking for a political career. I'm not looking to come in and take over Tim's position and stay there for the next 30 years because I don't want that for 30 years. But, we need some change in America, and it starts by getting some of these older people out that have been in there for, decades now, and take over and just, get the power back into the people and get some things changed that need change. Get people that are actually going to work with Trump because, you know what, in 2020, whether Democrats like to hear this or not, whether Tim likes to hear it or not, Trump will win. And we're going to take the House back, and and we're going to keep the Senate, and that's what we need. We need to get this stuff straightened out, and we need to get even on the Republican side, we need to get those out that are just doing the same thing as the Democrats, sitting on their hands and getting nothing accomplished.
Well, as familiar as I am with Northeast Ohio, and as you know, Northeast Ohio goes for Trump, then Ohio will go for Trump in 2020, absolutely, positively, as it did in 2016. So
absolutely.
I'm all there for you, and we'll keep in touch, and I'll send you the information so you can reach out to the people who will certainly want to go to the polls and help you out.
Only on the John Fredericks Show, Duane, can you come on and find somebody that's lived in your area that's got hundreds of contacts to help you. That's why we have this segment, the Disruptor segment. I want to thank you for that. For more information, HennenForOhio2020.com, HENNEN, the number 4Ohio2020.com here on the John Fredericks Show. Thank you, Den, for calling in. I also want to say, Duane, that Chris Saxman, another one of our listeners, also a host on one of my radio stations, WJFN 100.5 FM, says that pensions are a huge liability. Saxman also says that your district is D+7. He looked it up. So my callers actually do my research. So thank you, Saxman. So he says it's D+7, and he says it's winnable. So he's saying that you're in a winnable district, Duane.
I would agree with that. I mean, there's 4 districts in Ohio that are kind of tough, and I'm probably the number 4th, and the number 4 is probably the most winnable of ones that are held by the Democrats right now. And I think it's definitely winnable. Tim Ryan's been losing a foothold over the last several elections, and people are just getting fed up because, if you don't do something and you're starting to lose a foothold, you better start doing something, and he's just not doing it. He's out there just campaigning, and I think, honestly, his goal is either to try to get in, hey, if one of the Democrats were to win, which they won't, is to get in as whether as a vice president or as a cabinet position, or else setting himself up where he can run for governor here in Ohio, which I don't think he'd win even as governor in Ohio. He just doesn't have a record of really accomplishing anything at all. I mean, I always ask this to anyone that is for him, well, can you tell me what he's done for our area? Can you tell me what he's done for you personally? And I've yet to hear anyone come up with anything other than someone said, well, he got a post office renamed. Okay, well, that's not a lot for the community. That's not a lot for, our area to bring jobs in or to help with the opioid addictions or, anything like that. He's just not accomplishing anything.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting campaign. First thing you got to do is you've got to be the nominee. When is your nomination?
We are in March 3rd of 2020, and I am, like I said, I'm going up against another guy that's he calls himself a liberal Republican, and I have a hard time wrapping my head around that one because to me, a Republican is anything but liberal. So, it's just, I always say I'm a conservative Republican. So, it's when you come out and you say, and you're actually campaigning that you're a liberal Republican, it means you're hoping you get the Republican ticket and you can swing a lot of the Democrats over so you could win the election. But it doesn't mean you're standing for anything good. So, and I've yet to hear anyone on the Republican side. We were both actually at a Trump birthday party on Saturday. And everyone kept coming up to me, well, why is he here? He's a Trump supporter. He hates Trump. And, I didn't get it either, but it is what it is, and we'll face off on March 3rd. And I plan on getting the nomination on March 3rd, and going up against Tim Ryan. That's the goal. That's what we're going to kind of focus on right now, and that's what we're going to accomplish. I've been asked, well, why are you getting in the race? What do you think you can win? Well, it's not that I think I can win. I know I can win. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in this. I don't like getting into anything, whether it's business or whatever, unless I know I can win. So you got to do the research and say, hey, can we win? And then get to the point that you say, yes, I can win, and just do it.
All right. Duane Hennen, running for Congress, Ohio's 13th district against Tim Ryan. More information, go to HennenForOhio2020.com. Hey, Duane, great to have you with us. Good luck. Stay in touch.
All right. Thank you, John.
John Fredericks Radio Network. That is our Disruptor segment.